animals, spirit animals, they can come to you at different times in your life. They can change. It's really about how you feel and what's going on when you're encountering them. And something to think about too is, have you just had favorite animals your whole life? Like I said, the horse has always been something for me. And they got to go beyond just what's in your proximity. Ted Andrews speaks that and teaches that the animal chooses the person, not the other way around, that they choose us. Particularly when they make themselves seen in an unusual circumstance, like I was mentioning, like, wow, I've never seen, like, oh my gosh, I have to share with you that it was just a couple years ago now, I had an amazing encounter when I was out taking a walk with Charlotte, my little dog, around my neighborhood, but it was at dusk, and we know that the spiritual realm is the most powerful at times of dusk and dawn. Those two times are the most powerful time in the spiritual realm because it's said that there's a thinning of the veil. There's a thinning of the veil of time between the day and the night and how the spirit crosses over. So times of dusk and dawn have always been the time where the Tibetan monks would do things and the Native Americans would perform ceremonies, and people would really connect in an easier way with spirit. So that being said, this particular night when I was taking a walk with my dog, and I was not out in nature. I was not in some mountain or a trail or anything, which I really like to walk. I was in my neighborhood. I was literally like a couple blocks from my house. Now, granted, I do live near some woods, okay, which is why it makes sense. But it was at dusk. And I was coming around the corner with my little dog, and all of a sudden I looked up on the left side of the street in somebody's yard was a big buck, a male deer with a full rack of antlers. I literally gasped, stopped in my place, grabbed the leash of my dog really hard to make sure she didn't proceed. Now, it was a good, several hundred feet from me, but still, I saw it and it saw me, and we were staring at each other, and it froze and I froze, and I was just, it actually takes my breath away to visualize what happened. I was just absolutely captivated. My heart started just opening and beating and expanding, and I just looked in the eyes of this animal and was so in awe and gratitude and love for its magnificence, its majesty. It was just incredible. I had never seen a huge male deer alive like that with a full set of antlers, like I said, a full rack. Wow, out of nowhere. So if I wasn't looking around and paying attention, I would have missed it. And I basically froze. I didn't know what to do, but within a few seconds, it then looked off and just leaped away, and it leaped over this big stone wall that the neighbor had. It was like an old beat up wall fence type thing of its yard. It just, in one big bounded leap, it just jumped right over that like it was a little pebble on the ground, and just went away into the field across the road. And I was literally standing there like with my mouth on the ground for another like several minutes, and my dog is like, can we go now? And I just couldn't believe that experience. So of course I had to look up what a deer meant at that time, and it was very interesting. And I will add as a little side note that I have learned that the antlers on a deer are considered to be antenna, and that's a big reason why a lot of the Native Americans would wear like the antenna, or the antlers on their heads and stuff when they would perform healing ceremonies and sun dances and rituals, because they're connecting with Great Spirit antenna through the power animal of the deer. So very, very powerful. So that was an amazing encounter I had. So that's just an example of how something out of the ordinary. I mean, there was no question that deer had a message for me that day. And I remember that when I looked, I like ran home and looked up what the meaning of that whole thing was, and it sure did resonate with what was going on in my life. So pay attention to when things are out of the normal, okay, out of the ordinary when you get, especially with wildlife, okay? And don't rule out a ladybug on your shoulder, by the way. That happened to me the other day. Like, wow, like it's on my shoulder and it's not getting off. What's this all about? Okay, I look up a ladybug and see what the medicine of the ladybug has to teach me today.